Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Oleksiy Sypko. I'm co-owner and marketing and sales director of Agrofusion Group of companies. I believe you already see my screen with a map of Ukraine, correct?
Yes.
Perfect. So we are a small family-owned company situated on the very south of Ukraine in Nikolaevsk and Khersonsk region. And the motto of our company, we grow tomato paste. I will explain what is Agrofusion before the war, what happened, and how we are developing exactly as you asked. So before the war, we had the vertically integrated business comprises with greenhouses for growing small tomato transplants. The capacity was almost 200 million transplants per season. We've been cultivating 34 hectares of irrigated fields here in the south of Ukraine. We were growing 8,000 hectares of tomatoes a season, and we had 3 factories. Northern factory situated near Nikolaev, built in 2009. Southern factory situated in the city Golaya Pristan near Kherson, built in 2007. Eastern factory built in 2019, and it is situated in the city of Snegorivka. And in 2021, we've built a tomato powder factory. The total processing capacity of Agrofusion was 775,000 metric tons of fresh tomatoes per season. Talking about added value, when we process tomatoes, from 7 metric tons of tomatoes, we produce 1 metric ton of tomato paste. And when we produce tomato powder, we use 21 metric ton or kilos of tomatoes to produce 1 ton of tomato powder. Just before the war, we were #1 in Ukraine and #3 in Europe in terms of processing. The day before the Russian aggression in 2022 started, we were building the factory, we called it Western Factory, with a projected capacity of extra 250,000 metric tons of tomatoes. And this is the picture of the construction site made on 23rd of February 2022. And this is, the factory was situated near the city Chaplinka. It's 5 kilometers from Crimea. Before the war started, actually for us, the war started in 2014 when Russia occupied Crimea, because that time we were selling 65% of our product to Russian market. And we decided that we shouldn't do it anymore. We looked very carefully at the globe, find out that there are some more countries except Russia, and we've started developing export market for Ukrainian tomato paste. So by 2021, we've been actively exporting to 53 countries.
Was it difficult, Oleksiy? Was it difficult to find customers in new markets? And how long did it take actually to look for new customers?
It doesn't take too long when you accept their rules. One of the important things from the very foundation of Agrofusion was following the strictest safety and quality rules available in the world. So since 2029, we were certified against all the most, let's say, demanding quality and traceability standards which were in the food industry. And we were, well, it was challenging, but not that dramatic as now.
You think?
Yes, But we were not the invaders of tomato paste. We were just the company who decided that it's very good product to produce, very healthy food to be produced in Ukraine, and there is a demand for this product all over the world. So the most exotic, let's say, countries for us was Costa Rica. The most demanding was Japan. And for year 2023, we were expecting that we will export to 14 more countries. In terms of our sales by categories, if we take 100% of our tomatoes, 9% of them were sold to juice producers. We are not producing final product. We are industrial product producer or B2B. So we were growing the specific variety of tomatoes to make the specific paste for specific juice producers. 9% were sold to paste manufacturers. 75% were sold to ketchup and sauce manufacturers, and 6% of our processing were sold in form of tomato powder. Just some of our customers and their brands here on the slide. Important thing in terms of doing business in Ukraine that we've been always paying taxes, and we believe that it's one of our missions in terms to the country. So the red line shows the amount of taxes paid in million hryvnias since 2018, and the budget for 2022 was to pay 388 million hryvnias. VAT is deducted. And the taxes per one employee, the budgeted figure was 230,000 per employee. Unfortunately, because of Russians, we see that we managed to pay only 91 million Ukrainian hryvnias of taxes in 2022, but the amount of taxes paid by each of our employees even a bit increased.
But you pay this, of course, the tax amount reduced substantially, but nevertheless, when it comes to your operations, are you loss-making or cash positive in the current situation?
We even invest.
So that's good. So you managed to do that. Excellent.
Okay, I will then proceed with the war and how it affected us. There would be some dramatic pictures, sorry for that. So the first what we saw that there were some Russian innovations with Ukrainian irrigation system. Some of the tank stuck in our irrigation channel. Some of channels have been heavily damaged. And this is one of the challenges that tomatoes do not grow without irrigation. So we need to renovate a significant amount of irrigation channels here on the south of Ukraine. Another thing, the implication that a significant amount of our agricultural machineries have been damaged during the combat, after the shelling, or it was disassembled by the Russians and some spare parts were just stolen from the machine. Another thing that after armed forces of Ukraine liberated some of our fields, there are significant amount of residuals, artillery, ammunitions, and mines, and we are in urgent need of demining of our fields here on the south of Ukraine. And Mykolaiv region is the most mined area in the world, I believe.
But have you started already to demine your lands, and how much investments does it need in order to clean the land completely?
We've started. We've made the technical review of the field. We've started the demining. Right now, the country helps and demines some of our fields. From 19,000 hectares of land in our operation in Nikolaevskaya region, 2,000 of them are suitable for growing in now. The rest is still under inspection and have to be cleaned and demined.
So it means that polluted land, that polluted piece of land cannot be actually grown. So you cannot you do not plant there, and you cannot take harvest, right?
We even are not allowed to enter there because when you see something, it's okay, but there are some mines which you do not see.
Okay, yeah.
So it's one of the biggest challenges for us now. Okay, coming to the factories. The northern factory here near Nikolaev, since the beginning of aggression in 2022, the factory was shelled 16 times. It was repaired 16 times, and we managed to process some tomatoes on this factory in August 2000 and September 2022, when factory was considered to be in gray zone. Pictures on the left is exactly how it looked a season ago, and pictures on the right shows the factory state after the Russian shelling. Also, our greenhouse been damaged, and significant amount of tomato paste have been destroyed by our attackers. Eastern factory, the factory in Snigurivka, again, pictures on the left is how it looked, and pictures on the right is the second day after the liberation of Snigurivka in November 2022. A lot of equipment stolen, damaged. I'm not talking about urinals, but they gone also. A lot of paste, actually most of it destroyed. And that's what we've got in November. So the total estimation of our losses for the group of companies, 8 billion hryvnias. It comprises of tomato paste and cereals and peas and soybeans, which were just directly destroyed. It's about 3 billion hryvnias. Factories and equipment damaged, and one of our factories is still on occupied territory. It's 3.4 billion hryvnias. Almost 1 billion is agricultural machinery, vehicles, and so on. And the crops on the fields, we evaluate the cost of them at 500 million hryvnias, which were also burned and destroyed.
I'm sorry, Oleksiy, we need to somehow to complete, but just the question, do you plan to compensate those losses? Do you plan to return them at a certain point, or just you write them off and that's it?
We expect that Russians will pay this everything.
Repatriation, okay.
Yeah, maybe to my grandchildren, but after all these dramatic things, we've made the recovery plan. It's 32 pages of text, how to recover Agrofusion after the war, and we already started to implement this plan. All data is at Ukrainian Invest and at EBA website. I'll just show two pictures of this plan and how it will look like. So our program is to renovate both factories which are under our control in 2023 and start processing tomatoes there and process 500,000 metric tons of fresh tomatoes this year. We plan that our army will liberate Kherson this year or early next year, and we will have access to our 1,000 factory, and we will process and grow tomatoes there as well. And we want to build the fourth factory in 2026 and process 1 million tons of fresh tomatoes.
Mhm.
In terms of money, we've just showing the capex. In total, the project needs 67 million euros of money. To renovate Northern Factory, we need 2.8 million euros. For Eastern Factory, we need 11 million euros. And to renovate Tomato Powder Factory, we need 5.3 million euros. It's our estimate. Commissioning isn't finished yet. For Southern Factory, we don't know what would be the damage, so we just consider it will be okay. And for the new project, we'll need 50 million euros. The effect for the country, if we are successful, we will generate 900 working places in 2023 and will pay 385 million hryvnias of taxes. And by 2027, we will pay 727 million hryvnias of taxes, and we will have 2,236 employees working in the company.